Hey guys, so I have recorded this session that I played a few days ago, and I was going to talk about every spot that we VPIP'd in, and we'll start with this one on the right table here. Uh, so I raise a button, and a fish with a short stack leads in on this flop. Let's see what we do here. I open folded. He probably just has jack high or a pair of jacks. I think it's a little tight, but it could go either way. Ace queen, I'm definitely gonna raise here. It's good to go over some of these hands just to see maybe what my thought process was in the time, maybe uh, critiquing some of my plays. Again, it's the same opponent who donks again. About to say, there's no way we. Yeah, I mark him as a fish here. There's no way I folded that. This should be a raise. Yeah, here I go for a raise. I think I made it small just to. Oh, okay. I like that. Just want to point out on the left table, I folded queen jack suited to under the gun raise. It's kind of loose to call there. Um, on the right hand table, after he calls my bet, we got to be thinking about his range here. And I do go for the overbet bluff. So when he donks into us on the flop, his range is capped at a pair of tens. He never has sets or two pairs there. Uh, so then when he donks again for I think it was like 1/5 or smaller than that, he min bet. And then I raised him. He's capped again at pair of tens, so a king is beating him there. And then on the river, he probably doesn't have a seven. He might be the type of player who leads the sevens, but that's okay. So I really do like this overbet bluff on the river here. We really need a 10 to fold here. So if you're gonna get a 10 to fold here, you kind of have to bet big. Um, there's just like no way you can that this guy's range is should be calling this bet, and I think I get a fold out of him. Yeah, he probably had like nothing, like maybe like eight nine, which is really bad on his part. But yeah, we'll see where we go next. I'm going to try to fast forward this um so we get to the next hands. Jack 10 off, open on the hijack. I think this is a fine open. I go for a min raise. I've been min raising a lot lately. Online is just a different type of ball game. Jack 9 suited. I think three bets are fold on the button there. On the left side table, I think I like the check back with the 10 of spades, especially three ways. I think to bet would to get out of line. It's just too loose. You have 10 high. Not sure what the plan would be to to go two streets on a monotone board. Not good. I'd like to check back again. I don't think you're gonna get anything worse to bluff. I mean to stick around. And you gotta make a hard decision on the river. Three ways. Just give up. Ace three should be a fold. I just want to make sure I do that. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Got pocket kings on the left side. Let's see what happens here. I must have raised. Let's see, I might have skipped it. Three bet the cutoff. It's very standard. Might want to go bigger here. Looks like I'm going for the 33% or 30 1/3 pot size bet. I like it. Oh, this is a limped pot with 8 jack. And then he raises me. So I just wanna talk about this spot. This is like a spot that I don't know. I could get a lot of heat here. When he raises me, like, what is he repping? Like, literally, what raises here? Nothing should raise here, right? Nothing should raise here. So if nothing should raise here, what is he doing? Because, like, there's no, what? There's a straight draw? Does he think I'm three betting 9 jack from a small blind? Maybe one suited combo? Then why wouldn't you let 9 jack blast off on the turn? It, like, makes no sense. So I think I folded to him. Wow, I did fold. That's, yeah, I remember that. I folded. Oh, I think I asked somebody had set. Yeah, I opened. Let's go back 10 seconds. Oh, this might be an interesting spot. I opened 6-7 off, which is pretty loose from the button. I'm not sure if my chart has me opening 6-7 off from the button. Let's just check that real quick. So maybe it's because I knew that he was a fish and he was getting out of line. Yeah, 6-7 off is not an open, but yeah, our worst hands, our worst offsuit hands are just going to be like our 9-8 off, 10-8, Jack 8, etc. Looks like those are our worst hands. Okay, so maybe a little loose, so keep that in mind. And we flop second pair and he leads for 1/5. I snapped him. Giving away timing tells against fish, it doesn't really matter. I think I'm going for pot control here. And check back my second pair, third pair. I guess there's. I guess I assumed there was no point in trying to get a call there. I like it. Don't mind. Open ace 10 suited in the cutoff. Stay tilted. I think it's a huge fish. This guy up here. So I got two mouses going on. Oh, he donks here. I think that's a fine call. The 8 definitely helps me out more, but he's wow, queen 10. Let's see this. Bets any draw. Okay. Any with an E. Jack of kings under the gun. Raise. I min raise under the gun a lot. You know, the other thing about what I like about the min raise is I like how it leads like a lot of play on the flop since SPRs are larger. I think that's part of the idea that the solver uses when the solver min raises. It just also just like gives up less EV out of position. I really like this check back on a queen jack 9 because I don't have queen 10 often enough to really bet it. I think too much of his range continues. I'm miserable against a raise, which he should be raising at somewhat high frequency. I mean, if I were him, I would be raising any diamond. I could raise any hand with a 10. I really like this check back. I think that's something people aren't doing, especially live players. They see a really wet board and you have a pair over the board, so you think to yourself, I'm gonna get a lot of I should be able to get a lot of value from a queen, but like they're only thinking in that like mode of thought, that line of thinking, instead of thinking everything else that the opponent can do. The opponent can raise. The opponent could min raise. He could raise large. He could flat in position. All of them are very tough to play against because he's in position. We're not holding any diamond. We're only holding backdoor spade draw. We're only blocking backdoor spades. We do block the straight, one of the straights heavily, but going for his check here is just so much superior. We might not be putting in too many check raises, but against this crazy player, I guess maybe at frequency we could. Oh, when he calls, then I think we could, but I don't know. I kind of like call. Oh, I do raise here. Wow. And he calls. Four of spades is essentially a blank in terms of his range. Hold on. So I'll pause it. If four of spades is essentially a blank in terms of his range, but it does bring in double flush draw. So kind of a crazy check raise. I'm glad I'm going for these here though. And with that fold, we've probably got the max there. Wow, I really like that. You know, there needs to be something to be said about like being in the zone when you're grinding poker. I feel like I was in the zone in this session. Especially like seeing that play after he limps. I mean, after he flats that very small bet on the flop. The yellow marking is not necessarily a fish, but kind of like a reg that might be like somewhat of a thinking player who might be playing solid, not making overly fishy mistakes. So when he calls, he's super capped. Mega ultra capped. He will never have a set or two pair. Just go over that again. He bets one. He bet. So he bet 1/6, which is nonsense. It's just not a thing in poker strategy. Betting that small on this wet of a board. I mean, you're laying 7-1. It's just not a thing. At least I get some more EV out of this guy. So he's super capped. Um, if he's balanced, I know like solver will balance the actual nuts. Like let's say he's holding king 10 of diamond, king 10, yeah, of diamonds, king of diamonds, 10 of X. That's kind of the straights that you might be slow playing here, because you block the king of diamonds, and you block like something that he can continue with. Either way, the solver is not probably not slow playing if the solver could solve multi-way. But yeah, he's super capped there. Being in the zone is just like something like, let's see what I do here. Is just something like that's so important. I think like working on like mental game. I do like a fold here. Oh, maybe. See, that's the other thing. Like being a spectator. Like eventually, I know stay tilted is a huge fish. I marked him purple, which is my biggest fish marking. Mainly just an action fish. Like Wolfie's not really an action fish. He's like just a strange fish, just like putting in small bets when he shouldn't be. And he's short stacked too before he won a little bit. Stay tilted just might be a spewy fish, and that's where when I mark him the highest version of fish. And I'm really glad to see that like I was sort of like in the zone and doing stuff that getting the most EV out of a certain situation. I don't really think many people check raised there when I had kings earlier. This is probably just a pure fold. Yeah. I think working on mental game is like super important. Just getting in the zone. Oh, said something about, yeah, he had a set there. He had a set. The hand where I folded kings to that check raise. It's super loose, but like what is he check raising? You know? And he bets small into this on this board, which is very standard. It's probably optimal. I like the call. 5 on the turn. I think I like to go with a small bet here. Oh, big bet. Looks like a big bet. Ooh. Okay. About to say pot's a little bit too big in my opinion. Now we got to think about what part of the range we're at when we split here. Using a big bet strategy here, our range, this node, it will be split into the big bet and the small bet. Yeah, I think you could be overbetting here too. First, you got to think to yourself, what do you do with the 5? Well, honestly, a 5 might just check back. I don't think GTO checks back the 5 that often, other than the fact that you block everything. But I think I bet big because when he checks, he's he's capped because this type of player will probably bet his jack again for a small bet, and then you just fold your sevens because they're just not good. But when he when he checks again on the turn, when he checks on the turn after betting small on the flop, because his flop he's betting for range. The turn he's just so capped. I thought I want to get the max against his ace highs and king highs. So I ended up betting. I like that. I do think it's a little bit imbalanced because we'll go back to that board. It's a little bit imbalanced just because um, I don't think a five does that there. But if he does call that um, on the river, if you have a five, you're jamming. So if he calls, the pot would be 24 or 34. Yeah, you're definitely betting 84 into that. You're definitely like 3xing, 2.5xing the pot because I don't think should do it with sevens. I think you should be doing it with Jack high or Jack highs is that. So you need to be thinking about what's the bottom of your range. Probably 10-9 suited. Uh, that's probably like one of the good bluffs. I'm not sure if king high suited would be uh, would be going for that there. When he calls his big bet, king high might be going for the bet, going for the bluff. Like king queen might be a bluff on the river on a let's say the river's a deuce. King high might be bluffing there since when he calls the big bet, he never has worse than ace high, or at least he shouldn't. So pocket sevens should probably check back a blank river like a deuce, and probably not even bluff like an ace, king, or queen river either. I think that's part of the reason why I bet big. I want to deny equity against that. And then you might think to yourself, well, if you want to bet, if you want to deny so much equity, why don't you just bet small? It's going to do the same effect. I don't think so because I think betting big even when you have a five might be better too, since five's not in range as much. Like if this was a 10 or Broadway 8, 9, those types of cards that cutoff has a lot, then it might be a blunder or just maybe an EV mistake. But in terms of splitting your range into big bet and small, I actually prefer big here with rain with if I had to pick a sizing, I would probably go big here with that logic. Small bet here does not necessarily mean you're range betting. I think I need to just hammer this home. Small betting is not range betting. It's just splitting the node. Look at this flop. Anyways, we'll get back into the action. The next hand on the right side, I decide to 3-bet with ace queen on the button, and we get a fold. Looks like we're going to be V-pipping these two hands, ace 4 and ace king on each side. We're going to be 3-betting the hijack with ace king offsuit from the cutoff, and opening queen jack suited under the gun for a min raise. We get a cold call from the fish in the small blind, and a call from the original raiser. So this is a cool spot to explore a little bit just because you'll see this from fish a lot, especially when you have good hands like ace king. I decided to check his back on a pretty dry board. He could definitely check raise. He should be check raising 7-9 deuce a lot because if I'm range betting three ways, I gotta it it kind of doesn't make sense to range bet three ways, but we haven't our solvers haven't really got to that point to understand that game tree there. I like his sizing. If he's gonna be betting this turn, he's gonna have to go big three ways. I don't like a small bet. It makes no sense. I'm probably gonna raise this also. Okay. So I've changed my raise sizes online. I min raise under the gun plus one, which is the hijack, and then I make it 2.3 in the cutoff and 2.5 on the button. I've just looked up what certain solvers were doing pre-flop, and that just kind of is the consensus there. Let's get to another hand. Three bet pocket tens. Just real quick, ace deuce is suited. Just fold this here. We had a under the gun limper and then a raise. You can squeeze sometimes here. I would roll really high with your RNG if you're gonna do that, and it's got to be really really high in my opinion because solver actually doesn't use ace deuce as a bluff. He uses a little bit better hands like ace three and ace four. So another spot where we three bet a reg on the in position with a premium, and this time we get an 8-9 board. Bet small here just because it's multi-way. Could go a little bit bigger. I think that's one of the first mistakes I make. I think I should be going a little bit bigger, getting value from all the draws because they're not going to fold anyways. So that's one of the first mistakes I think I've made this video. There's a hand in the earlier. I think I made a mistake, but that's okay. Check our set, which I think is totally fine here. I just would like to say, okay, almost no one's going to be checking this set at the casino. A lot of the live pros or live players in general that aren't pros are just going to bomb this turn. But like anything that wants to check, everything that wants to check call on the flop wants a 10. And yeah, it could be 9, 10, and 8, 10, but so often you're gonna have hands with a jack in it that are trying to make a straight. So I think checking it back for pocket control is totally fine. The queen is a total disaster card, and now we basically can't continue from large bets. We basically just have to pray and call a small bet here. And I think my plan was to call this bet. We got to know that we will be losing a huge percentage of the time, but he bet half pot. So when you bet half pot, you need to be good 30% of the time, and which I think we could be. But when he raises, it's just a pure fold. I remember being mad. Look at my mouse go there. So I full a set on the turn, and they both have a jack. So without that 10, we were getting killed by him. In a way, the 10 kind of saved us. I'm sorry, the queen kind of saved us. No, it didn't because then he would have not had a straight. Okay. Alright, we open pocket aces. I'm sorry. Yeah, we open pocket aces. Cut off. I went against my sizing, and I made it 2.3 from the cutoff, usually min raise, but I'm sorry. This is the hijack. So I checked the 9-7, 10-9-7 board. I think it could go either way. We don't have 8 jack often. We don't have 8-6 often. So I just decided to pocket control, play top out of position. I guess it's not top. He big bets this. He insta big bets the queen on the turn, and we have a set on the river. So I think his range is basically Jack 8 or nothing if he bets here. If he checks, we win. If he bets here, see, okay, so I don't think we should donk here because when he goes two streets of big bets, he should have Jack 8 and sets. The problem is, okay, now our set is good. Obviously, we have the best set in the game, but we we can't lead here because he's the only one with Jack 8 and I guess 8-6. Okay, so if he's the only one with Jack 8 8-6, we can't donk, but we could 100% call a bet because now we beat all the two pairs in sets. We just don't have. We have the third. We have the third nuts, but he's the only one that capable of the first two nuts. So I don't think that warrants us to be able to donk here. So if he bets, I hope I call here and not raise. He pots it. He pots it. So if he pots, okay, and he does have Jack 8. That's wow. Okay, I remember that now. But like I said, I think that the call is totally fine. Jack 8 is getting most of its value, if not all its value, from all the sets and two pairs. mainly sets. It's just very unfortunate that we had a set there. We have the best set there. I was ready to fold, but because his line is very, very Jack 8 and 6-8 and set heavy, but then we beat every set on the river, so we have to basically call. I thought I had a call there, raise Queen 9 over here. I think you can make an argument to not call that pot size bet. Not many people are bluffing there, but the only hands that we are beating there are Jack 8 and I mean losing to our Jack 8 and 6-8, and he shouldn't have that often. Let's go to this Jack 10 and Queen Ace Queen hand. So we ended up right here with Ace 10. We okay, I squeezed Ace 10 out of position using a fairly big size from the small blind, trying to get folds mainly. Not that Ace 10 is not a good hand. It's just with the rake being out of position. I mean, who likes to play out of position? Jack 10 suited is a medium to high frequency 3 bet from the button versus the cutoff. Opening twos in the cutoff is totally fine. Again, my sizing a little strange there. Should be a little bit bigger. I don't know. It must have been. Sometimes I'm in a rush online. Let me get 3 bet. So okay, I insta folded. I should be RNGing that, but that's okay. Okay, so we didn't technically VPIP the 510, so I'm gonna gloss over that. Okay, we did VPIP the Queen 10 suited. Get a call from the fish on the button. Hit second pair. No flush draw. It's a rainbow board. It's really good for our hand. But no sense of big betting here. Big betting kinda doesn't make any sense strategically, but against the fish, definitely could do anything. Probably gonna VPIP this king queen. For those of you that don't know, VPIP stands for voluntarily put money into pot, which is why I glossed over that 10 something hand because I didn't voluntarily put money into the pot. Did not 3-bet king queen off against the under the gun +2 razor, but this is a fish. You could definitely 3-bet him. You could play anyway against a fish, but yeah, I think suited is pretty much a slam dunk 3-bet, but offsuit you could call, especially him being slightly early position, middle position. I bet 70% with my gut shot after he checks that, and this probably seems like a good bluffing spot to me. But the problem is the 8 brings in jack. Yeah, I'm sorry, what did he have? 8, 9, 10, nines. Okay. So I think I was afraid of a straight because anything that calls with the 10 kind of connects with an 8 here. I think if this was not an 8, I think that was my thought process. This is not an 8, I'm bluffing. Should have probably bluffed here with my blockers, with good blockers. He's never calling with a 9, probably. So I think that was the first major mistake that I made there. I think that's a spot where I think it's a close to a mandatory bluff. There's, but it's not a spot where we're bluffing at low frequency. I think it's a spot that I sort of have to bluff. So I think that was the first. I don't think it's a blunder, but pretty big mistake. I don't like not bluffing there. And here is a 3-bet with eights, I RNG'd this for sure. I've been RNGing pocket pairs pre-flop in position a lot because pocket pairs just aren't good enough in general to playing as a flat. I don't play flats as you have seen. I think I have called once pre-flop. Called once from position that's not the big blind. So keep that in mind. I play a raise fold strategy in general with the rake structure and 100 big blinds deep. If the rake was less and our SPR were bigger, like I think 200 big blinds, you can play call strategy for sure. As you will see me at the casino when we play 5-10 or deeper, I play a call strategy in position or when getting a good price. I will definitely have calls in my pre-flop range. I squeeze ace king suited from the big blind on the left side and get a fairly dry flop. And I am bluffing into two people. One's a fish though, and one's I think I marked as a nit. I think you could go either ways here. Not not loving this spot. The problem is with the queen. It kind of discounts my jacks here in terms of I'm don't think I'm betting jacks here, and I think my plan was any spade, any king, any ace, and maybe any four or deuce river turn I will be jamming, and I think that's what I do. I like the play. I think I don't think I might give this solver approved action, even though it was multi-way, so it's kind of a sticky spot. But usually aggression is good. I think he could only really be calling ace queen and king queen, and we block both. And with the spade turn, I think instead of going to showdown with our ace high, which is probably not good very often, I decided to jam. I think you could go either ways, checking the flop and getting a showdown with your ace high, but we get a fold anyways. I think that's okay. I don't mind the play at all. Against a really good player, I think he might have to call pocket eights, pocket nines, pocket tens, pocket jacks. And any queen, the queen is discounted because we block his main queens we block, which is fine. Ace king suited from the button. You love to see it. It's a beautiful sight. Definitely be V-pipping that and waiting for the fish to give us action from the big blind. We were getting it in with ace king suited against him pre no matter what. He tanks. He calls to get a king high flop. Excellent. Oh, I raised 4-3 suited over here. Too loose. I think it's just too low in the range, but it's okay to up our VPIP a little bit, or up our PFR a little bit, since it could be nitty. I don't really know. This is just a pure range bet, not really thinking about anything else. You could check back the king. It doesn't need much protection when we have the ace kicker, and there's no straight draw. I mean, there's no flush draw. I think you could check back there exactly with ace king. Protect your check backing range. And trying to get the fish to spew to you. So I'm not going to give that completely an A, but I think my read was he's such a station that I'm just going to bet my top pair, top kicker. See what happens. I get min 3 bet with ace 9 off, out of position against someone with 200 big blinds. Just throw it out. I think that's totally reasonable. I don't think we want to play a 4-bet there at all. Jack 10 offsuit. I call here. So Jack 10 offsuit is the kind of hand that I'm going to be calling against fish who are limping under the gun with 58 big blinds. No need to raise. I think folding is okay, but it's like we're playing a small pot with a fish. We're out of position. You could see a flop. He's gonna make so many big mistakes. Like he's potting it here, you know. Really, any good turn or any good river, I can go for stacks. So, and he's got Jack 8. The type of hands we expected to see there when he limps under the gun as a short stacker. Let's see. On the left side, I believe I VPip ace 5 offsuit. I'm opening every ace, offsuit ace on the button. Deuce, Jack, Jack, Rainbow. Betting the best hand here, usually. Against aggressive players, I think we just go to showdown. But the pool is just not very aggressive in general. This is kind of like playing 1-3. So when they show aggression, um, you sort of know what to do. This deuce definitely hits him hard, regardless if he has it or not. Just gotta fold. Getting towards the end of the video. I called Queen 10 offsuit from a fish that opened the cutoff, and we flop a gut shot. Yeah, we hit our gut shot. Wow. Gonna go for a massive check raise since the king favors him, although not really. Just the two pairs favor him. Um, I don't know what our bluffs are, maybe diamonds. So I'll make it smaller. Probably should raise a little bit bigger. We're polarized here. He sort of is too. I think that's why I made it small, because he's polarized. So I made it a small raise. I might fold to a big raise. And I think an overbet is coming. I like the overbet here. I think betting smaller is bad. Because we are saying we have a flush, busted flush draw, or we have a straight. Why would I be? You'd bet two pair, wouldn't you? You'd lead two pair, I think. I think I would lead two pair. Check call two pair, maybe. I mean, what two pair are you even doing that with? Ace king. He's got all like ace king. So yeah, I like that play. Pocket fives. I do not like this play. Calling and insta folding. That's why you don't place pocket fives from the small blind like that. I'm gonna give that an error. I think I was probably getting tired. Not good. Okay, we 3-bet. Okay, this is an interesting spot. So a couple errors I made so far, so not perfect, but at least they're just for small little pots. I 3-bet the cutoff with king queen suited, ace jack queen, and this is an interesting spot. This comes up often. A lot of people are playing their hand too much here. The reason why I go for a small bet is because we have equal parts king 10, which is to say not very often. But I have the ace a lot, and I have a lot of the two pairs. We kind of have the two pairs. Oh, that's a good river. We kind of have the same amount of two pairs, though. Okay, Three of a kind on the river. What do you do here? I called. Okay. I called. Guess my question is, how often are we beat here? Wouldn't ace jack or ace king or ace, wouldn't they check call? So that's the problem. What is calling that's worse when he leads? And I would say almost nothing is calling. Queen 10 is basically the only hand in range. I think queen, couple combos of queen 10. All the suited combos of queen 10. So three combos. Okay, that's probably that's I like that. I like how I didn't raise because nothing is giving me value. It's a missed flush draw, anyways. He should be going way bigger than that. Should be going. Shouldn't you be overbetting our pot? Maybe. Maybe. Get a lot of hands online. Oh, I misclicked. Miskick, miskick, misclick 3-bet. Min 3-bet. I think I gave up here because I didn't know this weird node with the misclick 3-bet, which is totally fine. And I'm going to show one more hand. I'll show this ace-8 hand, and I'm going to call the video. Thought my session went pretty well. Hold on. I check ace-8. He donks. Okay. Okay, so we he limped pre, and then he leads. So he's capped. He doesn't have ace king. He doesn't have ace 10 either, but he could have ace 7 for sure. And he doesn't have. He only said he has his pocket sevens. So I turn the 8. I basically have the nuts. I know I have the nuts. The problem is, what do you do when you know you're beating him and he takes a passive line? Bet small here. I like it. I think if he check raises, we call, and I would like to bet maybe half pot here, and I go 1/3. I think the idea of not betting half is that he can fold. He can just fold if I go half, and he folds for a third anyways. And we might as well watch this deuce's hand since it's right here. And we will call it a video after that. Jack, Jack 10 with 2 hearts. Bets hand strength, not range. Okay, good note taking. Pat myself on the back. You need to take good notes playing online. Ace on the turn. Deuces is going to go into our bluffing range if we have one. The ace favors us. And I checked. Do not like that check at all. I think we just bet big. But this might be the type of fish that isn't folding. And I think that was the idea. Is that it was not folding. He was not folding anything. So if he's not going to fold, don't bluff. Anyways, guys, I think this session was a pretty good one overall. I've maybe made 2 or 3 notable mistakes, and for little bits, little small tiny amounts of EV, making that many little mistakes isn't the end of the world. No one's going to play perfectly. I was pretty glad I saw some good plays. I saw some plays I wouldn't have normally made, I think, if I wasn't in the zone, which it looked like I was, and I was happy about seeing that. Please like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching. See you later.